Hey, and what is up guys, Juris here and welcome to today's video. This is part 2 of the Wabikusa series. Part 1 you can find up there where I showed you how to build the Wabikusa ball the most accurate Japanese way. So today we're gonna plant those Wabikusa balls. I'm gonna show you how I did it. I have 3 different ones here in front of me. Number 1 in the front with the Rotala macrandra. Number 2 is with the Hygrophila araguaia. Number 3 is having those 2 plants in addition with the Hydrocotyle tripartita. They turn out just beautiful and I cannot wait guys to show you how I did that. I selected those plants specifically for a special reason, so pay attention in the video. And I have a 4th ball, a very special Wabikusa ball. This one has a different shape and it has the Nymphaea lotus attached to it. Probably you haven't seen something like this never before. I did so in 2015 when I joined the team of volunteers to assist Takashi Amano building the 40-meter aquarium in Lisbon, and we have used this type of Nymphaea lotus Wabikusa for planting the aquarium along with a lot of other Wabikusa. So guys, let's get into the video. Pay attention to the chapters for each individual balls. Find all the ingredients down in the description below and let me know in the comment section below which Wabikusa ball is your favorite, and with a little bit of luck I'm gonna give away one empty, not planted, naked Wabikusa ball to a lucky random winner when I do the follow-up video on this Wabikusa balls. Let's get started. So here I have a dry ball. The beauty of using my method building these balls, you can just let them dry out, have them sit on the shelf for literally as long as you want. But before you can plant it, once it's dry, you should soak it in the water. Just give it half an hour time. It's gonna soak up all the water and then it's ready to use. So I have a couple balls already soaked. Here is one of them. And yeah, we can proceed to attaching plants to it. I told you there are gonna be a few things to avoid. So you're gonna have 3 balls wrapped with moss. So 3 portions of moss. This is how I do it. I'm gonna wrap it the first half first, the top half first, and then the bottom. Actually, I don't need the bottom because it's gonna be shadowed and the moss at the bottom is going to melt anyway. So if you wrap the moss at the bottom, it just makes no sense. I'm using here those beautiful moss portions, and this is, by the way, Christmas moss. Something you want to avoid is the moss having it like a too thick layer. The reason why, because if it's too thick, it's already going to shadow itself, and once this happens, then the bottom layer of the moss is going to rot and die. I said initially I have 3 packs of moss. I think 1 pack will be enough for all the balls. So let's see how little moss I will actually need in the end for all of the Wabikusa balls. Top layer is done. Now we can take a, what is that? Polyester thread. I'm using the expensive one, but you can also use the inexpensive one. Just make sure it says polyester on it. This one is not going to dissolve over time because you want the plants to be attached to the ball permanently. I don't have to fix one end of the nylon thread because once I do, I wrap around the ball, it is going to hold the thread itself. So what I would like to do now is, attach some moss to the side. So let's cover this section with moss. At first I wrap around with slightly larger gaps or spacing between each wrap, approximately 1 centimeter. And once I'm done, I go back and cut those spaces in half. So literally every 5 millimeters I'm wrapping the moss to the ball. And I would say I'm done with attaching the moss. We have 2 options now. We can proceed with adding more plants to the ball, or do other balls wrapping with moss and then add plants to it, but that would be a little bit boring for you. So I would say let's continue adding plants to this ball, and on the next one we can skip forward and start with the ball already wrapped in moss. I'm not worried at all about the liquid medium, like let's say what is remaining from the liquid medium from the tissue culture cup, because once the whole thing is done, I'm gonna submerge it in water to wash off any loose particles, and it is going to wash off any of this nutrient mix that might be attached to the cup. So yeah, the whole thing on top might be just too much. And yeah, now we can briefly talk about the mistakes I see some people making. So what I see very often, people, take this Hygrophila araguaia and make portions out of it and then poke holes into the ball and then plant the ball as if it's, I don't know, substrate in the aquarium. And if you do it, the plants are going to go only in this one spot. You have to make a lot of holes very close to each other, which is very difficult. Most people don't do that. They do just a couple individual holes and the whole thing ends up looking like, I don't know, like you poke sticks into it and something growing here, something growing there, but you don't get the full cover. If you want to achieve a full cover, you want to attach the plants flat to the ball. They're going to create new upside shoots and then create an even coverage. So with the Hygrophila araguaia, I have to unwrap the plant. And now if you look at the plant like this, there is a single stem growing up, and from this single stem you see, a couple side shoots at the top. But if I would plant it like here, it would just only grow here and become bigger and bigger and kind of naked at the bottom. So instead, what I suggest to do, to put it flat on the ball. This way, all the shoots, you cover a much wider area, are going to grow vertically, and this is going to look more natural. This basically covers the middle section of the ball, and yeah, we can start attaching the plants to it. I go brief, like in between the plants. I'm trying to attach the stems and the roots to the ball without pressing the leaves, because if you press the leaves down, the leaves don't like it and they can then die off. Okay, so for me, it looks like I covered a good portion of the surface of the ball with the Hygrophila araguaia. I have stems leading in all kinds of different directions, and when they all start growing, building side shoots, it's going to be a nice bush of the Hygrophila araguaia. Now I have to do something with the string at the bottom. For that, I simply flip it upside down, put it down like this. Apologize, Hygrophila. We can cut off the string here, and I just pull it underneath a few of the other strings, and I do it a couple times so it stays there. So the first one is ready. Something I could do here, we have a couple roots sticking out and a little bit of moss, so I'm gonna trim this back to make it look nice and clean. Be careful when you do this grooming of the Babicusa ball not to cut the string. Okay, cool. So the first one is done. So guys, up next we have the Rotala macrandra. So I see people using various different stem plants on Babicusa balls, but what do you want from a Babicusa ball that you cultivate immersed, so it never goes underwater? You want flowers. So different plants flower at a different stage, and most Rotalas take very long. They grow very big. Rotala macrandra, however, flowers very, very early and stays very small. So that's why I'm choosing the Rotala macrandra. Fun fact, the Hygrophila lancea araguaia is going to flower as well at a very compact size. So I've chosen this plant specifically for their flowering capabilities. And while I was wrapping this ball with moss, I kind of discovered myself a new technique how to use even less moss. And as you can see here from the top, you compare this top with the previous one, we see a lot less of the nylon thread. The reason is I first did the outside and then the top. I did very loose on the outside, and while I wrapped the top, I kind of automatically wrapped the outside. So now with the Rotala macrandra, so this is important, guys, watch for that. I lay it flat. I don't plant it into the ball. I put it all over the top, a relatively fluffy layer of Rotala macrandra. Maybe this is too much, but I want a lot of those Rotala macrandra flowers. We're going to see how this is going to work out. If you want to see how this is going to work out, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Okay, this is it. Now let's fix the loose end of the polyester thread at the bottom. Okay, Rotala macrandra rubicosa ball is done. Lovely, I like it. So this is ball number 3, and this time I'm going to show you my new and improved way to attach moss to it. So when I did the second ball off camera, I first did the outside with the moss, and this is still the first, what is that, tray of moss. I only used maybe a quarter portion of it, like very little moss used. So just hold it at the back with my finger and give it a couple gentle wraps, so just it doesn't fall off. Literally just to keep it in place. Not anywhere close to, you know, having it attached everywhere. So only a little bit so it doesn't fall off. Okay, and as you can see, the outside is all wrapped with moss. The moss is secured. And that remaining part, I'm just going to spread over the top surface. And I'm literally using now just half the amount of moss. And since the outside was already wrapped, I don't have so much thread at the top like the first one. Okay, cool. So that last ball, I'm gonna do a mix with Rotala macrandra and Hygrophila lancea, and I'm gonna use Hydrocotyle tripartita on this one as well. Let's put this underneath and this above here, and then we have a very nice clump of Hygrophila araguaia here on the side. Okay, so Hygrophila araguaia, Rotala macrandra on the side here, and then this portion over here, like, you know, that remaining parts, I'm going to attach some Hydrocotyle tripartita for a little bit of fresh green contrast. It's going to grow very quickly, so I'm going to use just a very small amount of it. I think that portion is already enough. As of right now, at the moment, it looks a little bit, I don't know, wild, chaotic, but when everything grows, I think it's going to be gorgeous. So guys, for the very last rubicosa ball, I have prepared something very, very special, and it's in here. It is a Nymphea lotus. Obviously, this is again not planted inside the ball. You just put it at the top. What you want to do next, have a little bit of the substrate, the cocoa fiber, and then cover up the roots and the bulb with it. And then you wrap around, kind of building up substrate material on top of the existing. And I have to be careful not to cover up any of the leaves. The big question for me is now whether I'm going to leave this Nymphea lotus rubicosa naked, or if I'm going to attach some plants to it. Because I think if it remains naked, it's gonna be a little bit boring What do you guys think? Should I attach some plants to it so the base of it is covered? Quickly looking, like traveling into the future, checking your comments. I guess everyone commented yes, attach plants. I can read your minds. Okay, which plants? We have hydrocotyl here, we have moss. Yeah, I think it's going to create some shadow, so maybe moss is the best and clean idea. Luckily, I have plenty of moss remaining because I budgeted so well on the previous Urbicusa balls. Now that this is probably the last ball I'm attaching moss to, I'm absolutely, no, it's not the last one, but I'm definitely not budgeting with moss right now. This one is done. I like it. A little Nymphea Lotus Urbicusa. The final thing I'm gonna do is just trim the moss that is sticking out. This is going to encourage side shoots and the moss basically growing more compact. Et voila. So I'm going to put everything into my beautiful UNS aquariums and then show you the final result in the UNS Nano Gallery.